In today's Take of the Day, I want to talk about Kawhi Leonard and the latest on his injury update. And before we get into that, though, please like, subscribe. Also hit the notification bell just so you get the newest and the bonus content first. We put out content every day, so you won't miss any content here. Let's just go ahead and jump right into this. So we all know Kawhi Leonard is top 2, top 3 player in the league when healthy. My favorite player, the best player in the league, if you ask me. I just haven't seen no player in the NBA. I don't see any player in the NBA currently now that can spread and cover both sides of the floor the way Kawhi Leonard can, especially when he really wants to turn it up on both sides. We saw what he could do in the playoffs last year. Luka was having a fantastic run in the playoffs in the first round. And, the Clippers stopped the bleeding by putting Kawhi Leonard on Luka for the last couple games and pretty much, shut down a lot of things that Luka was doing handedly the first few games when the Dallas Mavericks had the lead on the series, and they had a stranglehold on the series until Kawhi Leonard just decided to take over and put it to an end. And you can do things like that when you have superstars like him who can cover both sides of the floor, because he's just a very unique talent. And, he's definitely one of a kind. Even Paul George has said that before. It's just not many like Kawhi Leonard. I mean, first of all, his hands is really huge. And on top of that, he uses his hands to his advantage because he knows exactly when to strike. He knows his timing and everything is perfect. He knows when to swipe for the ball. And he's usually always good at getting steals. And he's always going to be, a top defender in the league. I mean, arguably, he might be the best defender of all time, because every season you can put him in the Defensive Player of the Year conversation if he's healthy, and you can put him on the all defensive team every single year if he's healthy. That's just the way it is, and that's the way it has been, pretty much throughout his career so far. And, Kawhi Leonard has been more than impressive because he's added a repertoire of, offensive arsenal moves, to his game that has allowed him to, play on a level that a lot of the players can't. I mean, he came into the league as a defensive guy, but then you turn into a 30-point scorer along with your defense, and you win 2 finals MVPs. And we all know Kawhi definitely could have won MVP of the league by now if he didn't load manage. So definitely everybody gives him a pass for that, but it's just his overall talent definitely really speaks loud and speaks volume to any NBA fan or anybody who really follows the game, or any fan of his, because he's just that type of impactful type player. And, I know they talk about a lot of other players like, KD and all them, but really, when you look at those players, they're really more one-dimensional. KD is really one-dimensional. He's a great one-dimensional player. Don't get me wrong. He's probably one of, or if not the greatest one-dimensional player we've ever seen. KD could just score, but defense, he could play some defense. I'm not going to say he doesn't, but he can't defend like Kawhi Leonard. And, when you ask me, there's 2 sides to a basketball court. There's offense and defense. And what player would you take over Kawhi Leonard on offense and defense, both sides of the floor, that's dominating? There's not one in the NBA that I could think of. There's not one in the NBA probably that you could think of. Maybe it is, but I'm not sure. I sure would like to hear it if you do have an opinion on that. But at the same time, back to the notion at hand, Kawhi Leonard is definitely one of those players that a lot of people, look at as obscure, weird, or different. But people are going to do that because he doesn't talk. But that's the thing. Kawhi Leonard is all about the action. He's not about no talking. All the talking is for people who want to be co-hosts and analysts like me, and people who want to interview others. That's almost the way he views it, So he goes out there. He's all about his business, and he's all about winning. And that's what I've always respected about him. That's what I've always liked about him. And on top of that, he's got the best playoff winning percentage, I think, amongst every player that's ever played the game. There's only one player that's near him or going back and forth with him, kind of sort of, is Magic Johnson. Magic Johnson had a high playoff percentage, winning playoff percentage, in his time. And Kawhi Leonard's just basically battling, the ghost of, like Magic Johnson when he played, even though he's not playing anymore. So it's almost like, when you look at Kawhi Leonard, he brings a different type of element to the game that a lot of players don't have. So when you look at the Clippers, the Clippers are a good team. I think they're definitely a playoff team. I think they can make, a run, in this regular season. But I mean, as far as playoffs, if they really want to win a championship, they've got to have Kawhi Leonard. That's just the way it is. Paul George has been great. Paul George has been a revelation. Not gonna not gonna lie, he really has, but he ain't Kawhi Leonard, and everybody knows that. And I don't really care what you try, whatever whoever's analysis it is out there. Paul George is a really good player. I think he's borderline a great player, but like I said, he's not Kawhi Leonard because Kawhi Leonard puts an effect on a game in a different way. And like I said, the Clippers need him and Paul George to combine together to win a championship. No knock on Paul George at all. Like I said, I have issues with some parts of his game, but I still think that he's leading the team the way he's supposed to, and I definitely think he'll be definitely one of the leaders when Kawhi comes back, along with Kawhi Leonard being the leader of the team, and they can take it to another level and possibly push for a championship. But right now, when you look at Kawhi Leonard's injury status, Skip Bayless was on air the other day, or yesterday, I believe, and saying that, he heard that Kawhi Leonard won't be coming back anytime soon, basically shutting it down for the rest of the year, or, maybe not, coming back anytime soon for the Clippers to maybe make a run. But at the same time, or maybe that's just something that Skip Bayless said to throw that out there to kind of throw Shannon off. Sometimes he does things like that to, bait Shannon in, and Shannon being, an idiot that he is at times, always running his mouth, not using his ears to listen sometimes, even though I like Shannon, but sometimes he just gets that way. And he might just be falling for the bait and the trap that Skip Bayless is setting for him. Now, in recent reports that I was reading on Clutch Sports and other websites I was checking out, even along with Allie LaForce on the TNT game they played the other night against the Blazers, the reports were saying that Kawhi is doing a lot of box jumping, and he's looking pretty explosive while he's doing it. So when you look at that in its entirety, and the fact that on media day, Kawhi Leonard stated that he really didn't feel injured, he felt good. He's working towards getting back to where he was, and that's definitely encouraging news to hear for Clippers fans, because to me, like I said, if they want to win a championship, they've got to have Kawhi Leonard, because honestly, Paul George is good, like I said, but it's just not enough. All these other teams, they got, superstars, and they're just stacked. You know what I'm saying? And when you have to play a team 7 times in the playoffs, 4 out of 7 times, you got to have all your pieces to beat them, because you look at a team like the Warriors. I mean, they have just Stephen Curry and a bunch of role players right now, along with Draymond Green, and they got the best record in the league, or one of the best records in the league. And Stephen Curry is basically the MVP of the season so far. It's probably a no-brainer. And this might be arguably his best season that he's played in the NBA. I mean, you can actually argue that. But, I mean, at the same time, it's all about the team chemistry and camaraderie. So when the Warriors get Klay Thompson back along with James Wiseman, they're already 9-1 now. How good you think they'll be once they get those two back, especially Klay Thompson, because he is definitely one of the best shooters of all time, and he can definitely fill it up. We've definitely seen him do that. And hey, you also got to look at this. Elimination Klay is his nickname. So in a playoff series, it's going to be tough to beat them. Then you got the Lakers. If they happen to get better, they got a big win last night against the Heat. So that's going to boost their confidence with Russell Westbrook getting a triple-double once again. And they're doing that without LeBron James. So, they're definitely going to be there at the end if they can find a way to get everything going. Then, you got other teams in the West, too. It's just going to be a tough situation for the Clippers if they find themselves without Kawhi Leonard to get to the promised land, which is the finals, because there's so much competition in their way. And, then you also got to think about other teams like Phoenix. Phoenix is another team. They're coming back for another run as well. So, I mean, the West is going to be tough. The West is tough. You got Ja Morant, you got the Memphis Grizzlies. You just got a lot of teams in the West that are very competitive and that have some talent on there that can drop. They got superstars that could drop 50 on your head at any time. So it's going to take more than Paul George to win a championship with this team. So they need Kawhi Leonard back, and they have to find a way to get, Kawhi Leonard 100% healthy and 100% mentally healthy to play, because we all know Kawhi Leonard only plays if he's 100%. He said that a long time ago. And I definitely, have to agree to that, because if you try to play on injuries, especially depending on how severe the injury was or is, you can definitely tear something else or hurt something else or make it even worse. So I definitely agree with Kawhi Leonard, play when you're 100%, because trying to go out there and play 70%, 60%, well, first of all, you're not going to look like yourself probably, and then you're going to get criticized for that. And if you get injured again, everybody's just going to turn their back on you, especially the media, and say that you're injury prone. So I definitely think Kawhi Leonard has a substantial case with that, and I definitely think he's going about the right direction when it comes to injuries. So, I mean, I definitely hope that he finds a way to come back. Me personally, if you ask me, is there a chance that he comes back a little bit earlier than that time? I definitely think that there is. It's a very, very strong possibility because, I'm not going to say Christmas time or something like that. I'm going to say, maybe February or something like that. I can see him possibly trying to make a return around that time, early February, late January, something like that, and them trying to make a run at it. Now, of course, we'll have to see how it pans out for Kawhi Leonard. It's all about him, his comfortability, his health, and it's all about what the team thinks is best for him to do. And it's all about, how he feels when he steps on the court, and that's what it's going to come down to, because I'm pretty sure Paul George will not mind at all having, big dog back, because shouldering the load for 82 games, and then you got to take it in the playoffs if Kawhi Leonard don't come back against all these other competitive teams who have a lot of talent and who has more talent than you as a team and as a unit. I mean, that definitely can not bode well for the Clippers. The Clippers are very good in regards to the depth they have with the scoring from multitude of guys, but those guys in big situations can be great, but we've seen other players be great too. So my thing is, it's going to come down to, can they play that way when expected? I mean, look at it. Last year, it took Kawhi Leonard to have a Herculean effort to beat the Dallas Mavericks in the first round. I mean, really, if Kawhi Leonard didn't have the games and score the points that he did those last two games, Dallas would have went to the next round, even though Kawhi Leonard and Paul George were on the floor at the same time. Isn't that crazy? And that's what I'm talking about. Without Kawhi Leonard, there's no way they win a championship, because it's just too much competition and it's too much, for them, I believe, to overcome, and it would be tough. So they need Kawhi Leonard. We all know that. That's no secret. Clipper fans, Kawhi Leonard fans, whatever you are, or basketball fans, whatever you are, you need Kawhi Leonard back in the, on the floor, because it makes the league better, that makes the ratings better, and he is the top player in the league. So it definitely makes the Clippers more of a formidable team and a weapon against other teams that they won't be able to do anything with in regards to the Clippers, because they'll just have too much firepower for most teams. And that's exactly what the Clippers need, because the way the Clippers look right now in this 5-game winning streak, if you add Kawhi Leonard to this mix, it's really going to be, with the chemistry and everything they built last year in the playoffs, there'll really be a team that a lot of teams will fear, and they'll really be a team that's really ready to make a run for a championship. And I know a lot of people are not talking about the Clippers right now because of maybe Kawhi Leonard and things like that. But they're still a good team, and I don't think they should get discredited the way they do. But, I think Kawhi Leonard coming back will silence a lot of doubters even more. And I would love to see Kawhi Leonard come back a little bit early, because I think it would be best for him along with the team, so he can get his footing back how it was, and he can get that rhythm. Because, basketball is all about timing and rhythm, you know what I'm saying? So when you're a player, a superstar player who's been out for a while, mentally you have to get back to where you were, but also physically you got to get your body to a point where you're ready to take it to that next level, and you have to be ready to make that run and help your team get to another level because of your expertise. But it's going to take Kawhi Leonard to get his footing back first to do that, get comfortable with the team, and the few new additions they have on the team, they need to get used to playing with Kawhi Leonard as well. So it's like, it's kind of imperative that Kawhi Leonard does come back this season, as early as he can, because building the chemistry with the few new pieces they acquired that's on the floor in, Isaiah Hartenstein, you got, Justice Winslow, Bledsoe, even though those players might not get that much playing time, but you still need chemistry with everybody on the floor, just so everything can gel and everything can go exactly how it's planned. And that's definitely, something the Clippers need to, implement to everybody, especially when Kawhi Leonard comes back. And I think it definitely will be implemented because Ty Lue knows how to put things and put everything together. He's definitely a master with that, I believe. And just an extra side note, I'm hearing also that Marcus Morris will be back within a week or two, according to Ty Lue, from his injury. So hopefully, Marcus Morris comes back with the right mindset. Hopefully he comes back and be more consistent with his shooting. And I really hope that he adds to this team because it's kind of weird to me how the Clippers, go on a 4 or 5 game winning streak with Marcus Morris out of the lineup or not playing by, and getting other pieces to fill in and get the same amount of production. You see what I'm saying? So Marcus Morris is going to have to come back and play with an edge and, come back and, be more consistent with his shooting and scoring, to allow the Clippers to be more of a deadly team too. Because I feel like his expertise is very, very needed when he's healthy and ready to go. Because, I've looked at plenty of Clippers games where I've looked at it and I said, wow, the Clippers pretty much go how Marcus Morris goes. If Marcus Morris has a 20-plus point game, the Clippers usually always win. I mean, it's like when Marcus Morris shoots 5 for 7 from threes or something like that and have 20-plus points. When's the last time the Clippers lost when Marcus Morris plays really good? Very rare. They do lose when he plays good. So it's almost like a weird type situation with him. But if the Clippers could find a way to get more consistency out of him, well, they'll be an even better team in the regular season, along with all the pieces they have. And then, like I said, you get big dog Kawhi back. Well, I mean, Lakers, a lot of other teams really might be in trouble because the Clippers are coming and the Clippers would be ready for anything that comes their way if they got their leader, Kawhi Leonard, along with the way Paul George is playing. If they get Marcus Morris back playing a little bit better, Reggie can get more on his game the way he likes to and play in his natural position, the way he's supposed to. And like I said, everybody else feed off the energy of Kawhi and the rest of the group. Like I said, they could be a dangerous team. And I think that that's definitely going to happen. I definitely believe Kawhi is going to come back. I hope he comes back earlier than March or April, but we'll see. Hopefully if the situation happens where he has to come back a little later, well, so be it. There's nothing we could do about that, but I definitely hope he comes back, earlier to build, a little bit more chemistry with the new pieces that they have and, get his footing back. Because like I said, I love to see Kawhi Leonard play. I love his game. I love the mid-range, big hands, defense, just raw, gritty out there, doing his job, more than expected, being the superstar that he is, the superstar talent that he is, Kawhi Leonard Jordan, is what I call him. That's also what Big Perk calls him too. So, I mean, like I said, it's just good to see, you want to see the best players out there play the best competition. That's what it's all about. You don't want to see nobody injured. You want to see everybody healthy, ready to go. Because, I mean, really, when you if a team beats the Clippers in the playoffs without Kawhi Leonard, the story is just going to be the same. Oh, okay, well, they lost. Because if they would have had Kawhi Leonard, they probably would have won this series. You see what I'm saying? I really hate those storylines because I like to see everybody healthy and everybody out there playing and having fun and doing what they do best and giving us, the crowd, the fans, the audience, whatever you want to call us, the spectators, what we want too, which is high competition, great basketball between great players and great play from the best players in the world in the NBA. But hey, that's my take on the situation. Leave any comments in the comment section as always and let me know what you think. And hey, Cali out.